All right, kids, what is one opinion you would defend like this? Mine's would be, and has been, rap music is not the cause of violent crime in black communities. I said as much about this topic in a video I made last year about how brothers been down for years, so how can they blame us? And people responded to that with, rap absolutely exasperates and perpetrates violence. Most of the proof they had was, just look around you. Open your eyes. In other words, trust me, bro. So it's all of this with me saying, yes, you're all wrong, while showing this graph of the US murder rate spanning the years from just before 1970 to 2020, challenging people to show me where and when rap music even made things worse. I'll even help them out. See, black people have been rapping for decades before August of 1973, here, which is the unofficially official birthday of hip hop. And of course, rap music, in a general sense, was originally about partying, having a good time, and finding out who was the best MC or group. Any hip hop head will admit to and acknowledge that. Note the murder rate in the 70s and the early 80s. Because if they want to point at what came to be known as gangster rap as the reason for all the violence, well, that didn't start until years later, when PSK by Schoolie D hit the scene in 1985. Then Ice-T gave us 6 in the Morning in 1987. After that, came NWA with Straight Outta Compton and F the Police in 1988. And if someone wants to blame this spike in a murder rate starting in 1987 on those songs and artists, instead of other stuff going on in the US at that time, then they will have to explain why there was a steady decline in the murder rate beginning in 1994. Did gangster rap go away? Perception of crime does not meet reality. People usually think crime is worse than it actually is nationally and better locally. With that said, today we're going to talk about ways in which people have tried to convince me that hip hop caused violent crime in black communities. But we're going to focus on videos featuring thumbnails like this that are on YouTube. As you're about to see, they don't prove the point some think they do. So this video was sent to me. 250 rappers died in 2021. Rap Rewind 2021. And there's so many others like it. This one was made in November of 2022. And if anyone takes it as strictly being about rappers dying to violence, they must not recognize that DMX is on the thumbnail. He died of a drug overdose a few years ago at the age of 50. This video operates more like an in memoriam segment, highlighting the lesser known rappers who died that didn't make the news. It also contains stats displaying how those 250 rappers mentioned in the video died. 200 due to gun violence. That's a lot. And before I continue, more telling than the video itself was the essay in the description below it. It says, hip hop has 2 phases, old school and new school, each of which give off a different vibe. Old school hip hop has music based prevalently on African American culture. Artists such as Tupac, Biggie Smalls, and Eazy-E often rap about the struggles of growing up and the hard work they put in to get where they are today. Now, I'm going to forgive this dude, whoever he is, for not explaining when this old school, new school era occurred. Would have liked to see some years, but what did he say about Tupac? I get around. How do you want it, Tupac? This Tupac?
My fofo make sure all y'all kids don't grow.
He told Jay-Z to die slow once upon a time. And Biggie, give me the loot, kick in the door, 10 crack commandments, Biggie? Man, and Eazy-E has songs called F the Police and Merry Mother Effing Christmas. This shows that perceptions of hip hop, like crime, does not meet reality. I really don't have a problem with this video in and of itself, but no amount of Dear Mamas, Brenda's Got a Babies, Keep Your Heads Ups, Juicies, and Sky is the Limit make their music or message go from negative to positive. Anyways, the narrator of this video will go on to say, growing up listening to Eminem has caused me to fall in love with him as an artist. He introduced me to hip hop, and that's suspicious. That's weird. Moving on to rappers that are killers versus rappers that were killed. Uploaded in September of 2022. I learned that King Von might have been a killer. Quando Rondo too. Can you tell that I don't know who those people were/are? And I can go into detail about criminal history and legal issues of other rappers, seeing how YouTube is recommending these kinds of videos to me now. Or Young Dolph and Nipsey Hussle being gunned down in the midst of giving back to the community, or PNB Rocks and Pop Smoke's murders being linked to robberies after their locations were exposed on social media. But I won't, because the common thread among all of them is that they were black rappers. Well, and what Pop Smoke's mother said after his death. Because of gun violence destroys families. It must stop. Y'all know gun violence, America? The same fate that John Lennon, Marvin Gaye, and Selena met. I gotta say that I can't help but notice the number of subscribers the channels that these videos are featured on have. In fact, look at which videos are most popular on Rap Zone and Hip Hop Daily. Danger, destruction, and death. Here's another one, leaving a comment telling Rap Zone that they stole their thumbnail idea from them. Turns out, it's a white guy. Hey, are white people making money off of black bodies by showing violence? On this channel alone, Thang 3000, there are only 3 videos, one of which was 3 million views as of me writing this. That video is entitled, All Rappers That Died 1995 to 2022. Isn't that what rappers do? Give the people what they want? They sell violence. Whether or not they're about that life. Seems like there's a market for it in this country. See, American history. And my video where I make that clear. Why are they gun-toting in the first place? This is America. The point is, a lot of rappers have died since the pandemic. Too many. However, was this because of music, rhythm and poetry, beats and rhymes, when there was a raging disease killing millions of people, lockdowns, a massive distrust of law enforcement, growing inequity, financial uncertainty, and a proliferation of guns being sold? And we're talking about drill rap? It's like you have to not only pretend that rap somehow, some way, makes black kids violent, despite white kids listening to it also, but country music or rock and roll isn't violent. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, better run, outrun my gun. Try that in a small town? In order to try to prove that rap music fuels or accelerates violence, you need a lot of anecdotal evidence. Plus, you need to pretend like, on the other end of this thing, getting rid of rap would decrease violent crime in black communities. Or listening to positive, uplifting music will help the murder rate. Hearing Beethoven is going to make you a genius. Beyonce's next album isn't going to make me a cowboy. This music that makes you poop isn't going to... A few comments from people that are wrong tried to go the academic route. Gangsta rap promotes violence in the black community from violence in the media, but I was still reading the abstract when it said, although gangsta rap as a cause of violent behavior by its listeners cannot be proven, there is certainly a correlation. Okay. A study called Exposure to Violent Media found that violent music lyrics increase aggressive thoughts and feelings. In a series of 5 experiments involving over 500 college students, researchers from Iowa State University and the Texas Department of Human Services examined the effects of 7 violent songs by 7 artists and 8 non-violent songs by 7 artists. Quote, results of the 5 experiments show that violent songs led to more aggressive interpretations of ambiguously aggressive words, increased the relative speed with which people read aggressive versus non-aggressive words. Furthermore, the study investigated precursors to aggression rather than aggressive behavior itself, adding, more research is needed, say the authors, to identify the short-term and long-term effects of violent song lyrics. Okay, the Eagles of Lucy was all around me, so I went running for answers. And I found this article, The Most Surprising Rap Music Violence Statistics and Trends in 2024. And it includes conclusions from polls, surveys, and studies, like, in a 2021 survey by Statista, 42% of American respondents aged 30 to 44 years old said that rap music has a negative influence on society. The FBI reported a link between gangs and rap music in the 1990s, with gangsta rap lyrics promoting violence and anti-establishment attitudes. And a study by the National Bureau of Economic Research found that violent crime increased on dates when songs from violent genres like rap were released. But then I scrolled to the bottom of that page and I found frequently asked questions. Here's one right here, and I'll read to others. What role does the media play in amplifying the perception of violence in rap music? The media often sensationalizes and selectively reports on incidents of violence involving rap artists or those connected to the rap industry, contributing to a skewed public perception that rap music is inherently violent. Does exposure to violent themes in rap music lead to aggressive behavior and attitudes among listeners? Some research indicates that exposure to violent themes in rap music may lead to increased aggression and aggressive attitudes in listeners, but the influence of other variables, such as personal experiences and values, should also be taken into consideration. Speaking of, personal experience is what dominates this space, and takes like this.
When you live in Beverly Hills, rap music don't affect you, right? When you live in a gated community or you live in somewhere above the poverty line, you live in middle class America or you live in the upper echelons of America, what they say in these rap songs don't resonate with you. It sound good, it's cute, it's got a good beat, it's cool, it's trendy to you. When you live in the hood, this is like the gospel.
That was Officer Tatum, ex-policeman, current conservative influencer, and brother who wouldn't have asked Rose for the keys, saying that, in his experience, convenient, the upper echelons aren't impacted by hip-hop. And I'll get back to that clip later, but it's good to know that rap has nothing to do with this. Man, the YouTube algorithm must think not good things about me. So here is Officer Tatum asking a crowd to name a country singer who's been shot to death. And like, come on, just because he couldn't name them doesn't mean it hasn't happened. Also, he could have gone with this. I don't know if this counts. Before going on a mini rant about 5 rappers who have been shot and killed, pretending like black people can't blame white people for stuff while dealing with violence in black communities at the same time. Okay then, if that's the qualifier, some communities bet not say anything about black on black crime.
When you grow up without a father, that is your role model. Young Jeezy, these rappers who are continuously talk about drugs, talk about crime, talk about jail time, talk about glorification of spending time in prison. Like, that becomes your role model, man. And I think that we need to start addressing this, and we need to do it now.
I know who Young Jeezy is. Does that help? Probably made it worse. What we need to start addressing, and we need to do it now, is rap music. Like it hasn't been addressed or is not currently being addressed. As for the material conditions that lead to fatherlessness though, and rap for that matter, not sure of what Officer Tatum has to say about that. Rap was and is a reaction to violence, not the cause of it. When you control for poverty and segregated communities, concentrated poverty, the disparity in violent crime between white and black communities almost disappears. Those making claims about rap can't tell me when hip hop began or when black on black crime started. And hey, rap influences people. We know this. I probably should have said this earlier in the video for those that are going to check out halfway through it because they don't like what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. I've told this story before, but when I was out for a run one day, Power by Kanye West came on and I started sprinting. Jazz, rock and roll, comic books, and video games have similar influence, but they may or may not have been blamed for a lot too. I'm betting there's a much stronger correlation between removal of lead from gasoline and paint and the decrease in inner city violence than any effect of rap music or hip hop. It's kind of weird how the nightly news displaying black crime, TV shows and movies that have musical scores, by the way, showing violence, these videos on this here platform don't in turn cause violence. At least not the same amount as gangster rap, not as much. If they do, they don't get the same attention as rap. But if I can use personal experience and forget about evidence real quick, the people in my comment section and Officer Tatum and those who I will tell that are wrong have managed to not kill anyone to this point after listening to rap music. And I hope you've noticed that I've given you clips of violence in this video, including rap lyrics and the titles to hip hop songs in this script. Yet, we gonna be all right. Ooh, there's another one. We need to start addressing these YouTube videos showing dead rappers, and we need to do it now. You know, in order to prove my point, I could have gone the pseudo-intellectual opinion piece route or the academic one, but what's the point of making our argument when someone's counter argument is, you know it's true. Hip hop leads to violence. So I guess I'll be making another video about this in a couple of months.